I have recently been watching Shogun, and I did not expect one of the characters to stick with me as much as they have. It's really made an impact on me, and we'll get into why in just a bit. But Shogun itself, I totally understand the hype now. I get why it won so many awards. I understand why people talk about it. I'm glad I got around to finally watching this, even if it is like 2 years too late. So the whole thing from start to end, the atmosphere and the scale of everything is just incredible. It really has got that epicness, almost Game of Thrones level of action and world building. That whole thing comes together really nicely. Even the title sequence is very fantasy, but this is set much more closely to what I would imagine is a reality a couple of hundred years ago in Japan. There's a lot of politics, a lot of deception, and because of the slow pacing of the story, you really do enjoy it. You let it breathe, you let those moments sink in with you, so you really understand the gravity of what they truly mean. There's such a distinct clash in cultures from the very beginning. You've got this character, Blackthorn, he's arrived from England, he's a pirate kind of sailor guy, and he's washed up in Japan, and he knows nothing, nothing about the culture, customs, the language, how he should speak, think, act, in order to not only sort of understand what he's there to do and not get killed, but really just his whole experience of the place is very alien. He does not know what is going on, and as a viewer, especially someone who, I mean, I know a little bit about Japanese culture. I watch Japanese TV shows, I read a few books by Japanese authors, and I could pick up a few words here and there, but you're very lost as someone who English is their first language. You have no idea really what's going on, and it's done that way on purpose, I think, where there's a lot of this high level politics and deception going on. You don't really know anybody, and you've basically got this person who's come in as a guide, a translator, to guide the story, hold your hand through each part, and as Blackthorn understands more of what's going on around him, it really impacts the story and makes you understand the scale of everything that's happening. Yeah, it's just told in a really good way. It's done really, really well. One of these massive clashes in culture happens, and I think this is the bit that really, like, I remember most, is to do with when he has the bird, I think it's a pheasant, hanging outside the house. Now, the atmosphere of the whole thing is very dark, very gloomy. It rains a lot. It's done that way for a reason. It's not supposed to be fun, sunny. You know, there's a lot of action, killing, blood. There's a lot of that. But yeah, the clash comes because he says, okay, this is a gift. If anyone takes that down, like, they'll be killed. What I say goes. He's like, his Japanese isn't great, so they take it very literally, and so this bird starts to smell, someone takes it down, they're all like, well, we've got to kill this guy now. He does not mean that, he's just, those are the only words he can express at the time, and it's just, he did not expect something like that to happen. He did not expect a villager to be killed for taking down that bird, and he learns the hard way. And you learn the hard way as well as a viewer, because you don't really think about it. I'll be honest, I did not think about that at the time. It came as a bit of a shock. But yeah, so it's that kind of thing that's done really, really well. And the fact that it is this TV show that's kind of stretched over a number of episodes, it's either 8 or 10, something like that. And they're all about an hour long. You could probably condense the whole thing, action sequences and the kind of politics side of things. You could probably condense it into a 2-hour, 2.5-hour movie. You really shouldn't. Let this thing breathe. You get those moments then where he's contemplating his decision. He sat there thinking, God, I wish I'd done that differently, but hey, it's too late. The damage is already done. And there's so many moments like that where certain people are trying to make the decisions that they think are right at the time, and then they ultimately end up, having consequences of a different nature that you may not have expected. And like I say, we're guided throughout this journey by a translator, and she is by far my favorite character, and she's the one that stuck with me ever since I finished watching this. Even though I've moved on to other shows, I'm still thinking about Mariko. It probably helps, I'm a bit biased. The actress that plays her is one of my faves. She's absolutely brilliant. But she doesn't have much good going for her throughout the whole thing. She's from a disgraced family. Her husband and her don't particularly get on. He doesn't want to be married to someone who comes from a disgraced family. She is lumbered with this English person being his translator. And even though she gets to know him, the more she gets to know him, the more she comes to like him, that also goes against her because, he's an outsider and people don't tend to trust him. Not all people anyway. She's converted religions, so she's actually become a Christian. Now there are some leaders who are Christians in Japan at that time, on the council, governing body, but generally speaking it means that she's kind of closer to the Portuguese people in it, so she speaks to them as well, and that's the whole reason that she's used as a translator, is because she can speak the multiple languages. So she's always on that outside, even though she's always with these high-ranking, high-class people. She's kind of seen as the lowest of the lot, and it's just, she has a bad time. But her strength and like the way that she overcomes everything that's thrown at her, she's an absolute badass, right? She is a badass. And she is just brilliant. And you really do learn the story as we go. She's explaining it to Blackthorn, kind of giving him an overview of what's happening, what's being said. But that's how you also learn as well at the same time as you're going along. So it's really clever in that way. But yeah, her whole story, it really has stuck with me. The ending for her as well, like towards the end of the series, like how the story wraps up is really, really good. I'm not going to go into too much detail in that now. This isn't a breakdown of all the episodes. This is just talking about the vibes and how it made us feel, right? So that's what we do. But yeah, she's really stuck with me, and I can't really explain why. It's just one of those characters that's made and done so well. And there are actually quite a few examples of things in this that have stuck with me. I did read that actually what they did was they made the actors learn an older style of Japanese, not particularly a modern dialect, but like an older, so it's got some older words in there that would be sort of used around that time. And it's just that little attention to detail which makes this show so good. So there are also multiple like battles and action bits that in this show, and those, I mean, I hope you don't mind a bit of blood and guts, because it can be pretty graphic at times. I absolutely love it though. I love that kind of thing. I am not squeamish for that sort of thing at all. I thought it was done really well. You genuinely felt a bit scared when like an ambush would happen, or there's like a big scale army sort of marching towards each other and you have no idea what's going to happen next. There's a bit where they're kind of asleep in this thing, and these assassins have come and you don't know like where everybody is, or it's just the way that it's done is so cool. Like the Like the sword fighting is really good. There's a bit in like they're walking through the forest and then it's dark and all these like flaming arrows come at them. So again, you've got that gloomy atmosphere and then these horrible flashes of fire coming past you, and it's really intense. So it's definitely one of those shows that you can't just stick on in the background and let it run. We've talked about Gilmore Girls in another video, and that's something you could just, you know, sit on the sofa, having your cup of tea, doing something else, and have it on in the background. This is one you really need to focus in and pay attention to, because you will miss, even though it's slow paced, you will miss something if you don't appreciate it as you go. So something I'm looking forward to is probably season 2. I'm really interested to see how this sort of high level politics plays out. We've had very much a glimpse of the power that some of these people possess, but we still don't really know which way this whole thing is going to swing. There are still armies out there, they're still joining forces, you don't know who's going to double cross who. We've been very focused on that relationship between Blackthorn and Mariko as she's been guiding us through, as he's learning the culture, and now he's kind of got to grips with it. Let's see where it goes from here. I'm really excited for it, and I think it's been a really good ride. If you enjoyed it, please let me know. I'd love to have a discussion with you in the comments down below, and feel free to leave a like on this video. Let me know that you enjoyed it. We'll be back pretty soon. I'm not sure what I'm going to be finishing next. Probably one of the many animes I've been watching. So we'll probably get back to some anime fairly soon, and I'm going to be releasing some shorts as well, trying to get back into a bit of a routine, because we've dropped off this month with a lot of stuff going on in real life. My job has taken over everything. It's very stressful, but this has helped get me through. A nice TV show. I've also been watching the Game of Thrones spin-off with Little Egg and Dunk. That's been really good. The Night of the Seven Kingdoms, that's what it's called. But anyway, I'll leave you to it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next week. Take care and have a wonderful rest of the weekend. Whatever you get up to, enjoy the sunshine if it's sunny where you are as well, because that's been great. But yeah, I'll take care. See you later. Bye-bye.